So we're live. Yes. Everyone's here. Yes. Thanks, Josh. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is John. This is Caroline. She's one of our interpreters, obviously. Just wanted to, before we shared some stuff with you, do a little bit of housekeeping. We are sad that you can't actually be with us here today because of all the things in the world. But if it is any consolation, it's really cold here. So hopefully you're nice and comfy somewhere and have got a cup of tea. It's Friday afternoon. If beer is your thing, maybe a beer. I'm the Artistic Director of Unlimited Theatre, the producers of this show. We've spent the last 4 days, just 4 days, playing with how we tell the story that we're going to share a part of with you. We've been experimenting with how Duffy, who you'll meet in a minute, and I can share telling the story, how we use technology, video projection, sound to tell the story. And we have about 10 minutes of material that we'd like to share with you. If you're on your own and you have headphones, then you might want to listen with those because Elena, the sound designer, has been playing with some spatial sound, so that might be nice for you. There will be a short Q&A afterwards. It's going to, like I say, takes about 10, maybe 14 minutes to do what we're going to do. And if you post in the chat, my colleague, Javaria, is in the chat, moderating, looking after you all. She's going to collate any questions, send them through to us, and we'll be able to answer them afterwards if you'd like to do that. I also do want to let you know that we've been all over the safety of everyone this week. It's quite an extraordinary thing to have to be, it's a beautiful thing to be back in a rehearsal room and making things. And we've been very, very careful about looking after people. Thank you to Helen and to Alice in particular for that. But if there are any other artists or companies that would find it useful to see the risk assessments or the method statements that we've had to put together in order to do this this week, then just get in touch and we'll really happily share those with you if it's useful. I'd also like to say a big thank you to all of the artists, the designers, the technicians, the stage managers, the producers, the general managers, the hire companies, all of the people that work in our industry. You are some of the most brilliant and the most viable people that I know. All the people that are here, you're all amazing. Thank you. Thank you too to my quantum colleagues at Wolfson College for your patience while I've been learning about all of the stuff that you've been helping me to understand. There are credits for everyone that has contributed to this process in the box below the stream here. So if you want to see who's been working on that and who's done what, that's there. So yeah, thank you for being with us. And we really hope that you enjoy the show that we've made so far. Hi, my name is John, and this is Duffy. Duffy is 36 years old. He's a writer and an actor and a filmmaker. He grew up in Cold Place, where they play the bagpipes, Scotland. And one of the things he really loves to do is to go to the cinema, to sit in a big comfy seat, stuff his face full of popcorn, and watch movies on the big screen. I am 47 years old. I'm a writer and a director. I'm currently a visiting scholar of Wolfson College at Oxford University, where I am working with their theoretical quantum physicists to help them tell the story of their work in combining the classical and the quantum fields to create a new grand theory of everything. It's pretty cool. Look, we are not going to be translating everything that each other say. If your preference is for English, then you'll mostly get my story and all of the science. And if your preference is for BSL, you'll mostly get Duffy's story and all of the science. So try not to worry about keeping track of both our stories. After all, once you've observed one reality, you collapse the possibility for all other realities to exist. It's funny, all right, yeah, it's a geeky but quite funny joke about superposition, if you already know about superposition. If you don't know about superposition, don't worry, that's what we're here for. Stick with us, and in about 15 minutes' time, you're going to get a lovely, I hope, little callback chuckle. Okay, we're also going to be captioning the show, so look, you get to choose how to engage with this, with us. Just feel free to pay attention to whichever of us you're finding least boring at any moment in time. Okay, good, clear? Fantastic. I am those things that I just told you, right here, right now, the writer, the director, the visiting scholar, but I'm also simultaneously a number of other things. I am a husband, I'm a father to 2 teenage boys, I'm a big brother. Once upon a time I was a kid with a London-born father and an Irish mother who used to sing in the local church choir. Me, not my mum, until my voice broke and I became more interested in sitting in my mates' bedrooms listening to music that would help shape the way I understand the world for the rest of my life. I had, as of Monday the 30th of November, which was this Monday, 1,693 entries in my digital address book. Now, of those 1,693, 324 purely work-related, but 419 are friends. Now, of those 419, 241 are friends that I've made through work, but 93 are simply friends with no relationship to my work. Another 2 are my best friends. Another 1 is one of my best friends' mum. Friends I haven't seen or spoken to in the last 5 years. There's 53 of those. Friends of a friend, 29. Wife, 1. Other family, 47 entries. Other, this is things like, I don't know, plumbers and favourite bars, my Mario Kart ID, that sort of thing, 40. I deleted 760 entries as I was going through doing this on Monday. It was quite a satisfying purge, actually. Other middle-aged men who play tennis, 68. Mr. Tumble. Astronauts, 4. Number of entries of people that have died, but I haven't deleted yet. There's one of those. Number of entries I have no idea who they might be, but didn't want to delete, just in case. 28. Me, 2. One of the entries in here is for a man that I met nearly 15 years ago now. I was making a show, not this one, and we needed to speak to a scientist because we are not scientists. Just needed someone to explain some things to us, and he explained some things to us that have fundamentally, amazingly, changed the way we understand the world, the universe, and our place in it. His name is Vlatko. Professor Vlatko Vedral. Now, when I first met Vlatko, he was a professor of quantum information science at the University of Leeds. Since 2009, he's been a professor at Oxford University. He's also a professor at the National University of Singapore. He's previously been a professor at Tsinghua University in Beijing. He is a fellow of the Institute of Physics. He's won the World Scientific Research Medal and Prize. He is the recipient of the Royal Society's Wolfson Merit Research Award. Look, he's basically, really clever. He's also super fun, and we miss seeing him.
Hi, John.
Hi, Vlatko.
I'm very sorry that I cannot be there to enjoy this session with you, but I'm here drinking my wine, just as we usually do in a pub.
It's true. But it is the science, his research into quantum physics, that drew us together. The way that he is taking apart the tiniest building blocks of our reality and reimagining them, and therefore you and me, and everything we think and feel, and it fills us with awe and with wonder. And that is why we are here today. We're going to talk to you about the quantum world, the world viewed on the tiniest level yet imaginable by human beings. We are going to talk to you about just a few of the things that Vlatko and his colleagues have been talking to us about. And what's next, Sarah? We're going to talk to you about, oh yes, of course, brilliant. We're going to talk to you about superposition. The fact that a single object can exist in a minimum of two different places at the same moment in time. We are going to explain entanglement, that it is possible to entangle two separate particles so that they behave in exactly the same way, no matter how much distance we put between them. In understanding these two things, we're going to get to the really head-twisting part of all of this. Teleportation. The movement of objects and potentially people between different places, get this, without actually passing through any of the space in between. This is possible. It's happening now. We're then going to go on to suggest some applications for teleportation, and the social, the moral, the political, the philosophical implications of those applications. Is everybody clear? Seriously, we know that right now some of that might sound a bit overwhelming, maybe difficult to understand, but this is amazing stuff, and I promise you, not difficult. Trust me. I'm honestly not very clever, and when we started this, I didn't think that I would understand it, and I do. So, before we begin properly, I do think it's going to be useful to very briefly just go over a few basics. Some of you may already know some of this, or even all of this, but in our experience, always best to never make any assumptions. So, quantum mechanics, sounds a lot scarier and more complicated than it really is. Quantum mechanics is very simply just a set of experimentally provable laws that describe how very small things behave. Now, we're not talking grains of sand here. In fact, if you were to take a single grain of sand and split it into 1 million smaller pieces, then one of those pieces would still be 1 million times larger than the objects that we are talking about. Smaller than atoms, so small it's impossible to see them. And yet, these quantum objects, they are the building blocks of reality that make up everything in the universe, every bit of you, every bit of me. But we don't get taught the laws of quantum physics, not in this country at least, unless we make it to the second year of a university degree in physics. Now, we didn't do that. Instead, the focus is almost entirely on classical, Newtonian physics, and those laws, they only describe the behavior of macroscopic objects, things that we can see. And because we can see these laws at work every day in the world around us, we know that they're true. For example, an object at rest, it remains at rest. The harder you throw something, the further it will travel. To every action, there is an equal and an opposite reaction. Simple. Unfortunately, too simple when we are looking at the quantum world, because those classical laws, they don't work with these quantum objects. These quantum objects, they behave very differently. But because we can't see these quantum laws at work every day in the world around us, it makes those quantum laws seem counterintuitive and therefore difficult to believe. So what we're inviting you to do now is to trust us. What we are about to describe is true. It's going to sound a bit weird if this is the first time you've come into contact with some of these ideas, but trust us and we will get there. I think they're good. Okay, so superposition. The fact that a single object can exist in a minimum of 2 different places at the same moment in time. And that is as far as we have got in the last 4 days. 1 minute. Wait, I'm going to get my mouse. Thanks, Simon. That's almost sensual. Hi. So we said that there would be, this is Paul, by the way. We said that there would be an opportunity, if you have any questions that you'd like to put into the chat, for you to do that. And Javaria is going to send any through to me. And in fact, Josh, you would be able to see if there are any there, right? Have we got any questions there?
Not yet.
It doesn't matter if you don't have any questions, but we didn't want to not give you that opportunity. Oh, and there's a little lag as well.
We've had some nice applause.
Oh, that's nice.
Very nice. Looking forward to seeing how you will continue.
Oh,
From Jane Johnson.
thank you.
Got a question.
Oh, we have got a question. Amazing. Go on, you.
From Andrew Newsom.
From Andy Newsom, another professor, actually, a professor of astrophysics. Hi, Andy.
Question is, I'm interested by the emphasis on trust, something that all scientists are grappling with at the moment. Is that something you are deliberately exploring?
So that's Andy saying, interested in this issue of trust, and something that we might be exploring in the show. I suppose there's a lot of lack of trust at the moment, fake news. I haven't thought about it, actually, Andy, very much. I guess I'll be honest with you, sometimes I still wonder if Vlatko and his colleagues aren't all just making it up. I take an awful lot of what they're doing and saying on trust, and there's a lot of, you'll know this as a scientist yourself, there's a lot of debate around interpretations of how the physics are expressed. But that's really exciting to me, and I hope part of what we're able to do with the show and through being able to have conversations like this, what is true, what is truth, what is reality, where are the facts from, to create a better public debate about all of these things. And ultimately this show is going to get to the philosophical place. There is this science, this fact, it helps us understand the world in a new way. Maybe we've been thinking about everything wrong. I know in the chat there, I think Chiara is here, who's one of my colleagues at Wolfson, and she's working on an amazing theory called constructor theory, which is a new way of trying to interpret physics. If you want to get involved with her in the chat, I think there's a few of my quantum colleagues there, so you can ask them questions directly in there. I hope that was useful.
Comment back from Marika saying, "Oi, John, there's experimental evidence for it all."
There's yeah.
Question from Ravi Vasavan. Seeing as this is delivered in several modalities, a language-based question from me: is quantum physics easier to explain and show through sign language versus spoken language?
Okay, so that's a question about language, which I'm going to SMS to Duffy. You got your phone there, Duffy? I've just sent you that message.
Duffy said he got that, but
Oh, okay, cool.
check the message
Right.
as well. I mean, I feel when I'm reading the script, I really didn't understand it. And I had to really think about the language and how I was going to explain it myself. For example, entanglement. You know, I asked you, what does that mean? And you explained that to me. And, okay, now I get it. But in my head, I didn't understand what entanglement meant until we had the discussion and I was able to create that sign for that entanglement.
And we had a few conversations about how you could not just literally describe entanglement, but how you could make sense of it and make it, I guess, beautiful as well, right?
Absolutely, yeah, we did. I mean, I questioned you an awful lot about what the certain terms meant, and you know, you sometimes knew the answer, sometimes you didn't, but we had that discussion, and of course, with the colleagues at Wolfson, we were able to explore those, so that was really helpful.
Thank you.
I mean, I think that's a benefit of sign language, actually. You can create these wonderful images.
I've got this one. So this is from Amanda Groombridge. If an object can exist in two places, is it possible for another universe like ours to exist? The short answer to that is yes. It does exist. There is an interesting conversation, I think. My colleagues at Wolfson and at Oxford in general are very blasé about the idea of many worlds. They're very clear that, yeah, there are many worlds, but we can't access any of them, so it kind of doesn't matter. But yes, is the short answer. Maybe we should just stop now. If you want to stay in touch, if you have any other questions, then stay in touch with us on the social media channels. We're on all of them as @untheatre, UN Theatre. And if you've got anything that you want to say, we're going to keep the stream open for maybe another 10 minutes just to capture anything that you want to say when we go away, and we can get back to you. So thank you again to everyone here, Duffy, of you. And thank you to you. Have excellent weekends. Come back and learn about superposition another time.